Hello and welcome to another Bad Movie Review. This time we are looking at Ring Shark. This is a 2023 film from Big Summer, also known as Well Shark. And the cover art would imply that it's some sort of underwater version of The Ring. Don't get used to that. It's an awesome cover image and it really does play up the Ring element, but that's not what we have here. So this is 63 minutes long. And it's originally in Japanese, but there's English subtitles on it, so it's a lot easier to understand. That is a double-edged sword, which I'll get to in a minute. This was directed by somebody whose name I am absolutely going to butcher. Takehiro Natsume, and stars a whole bunch of people whose names I'm also going to completely mispronounce, including Chihiro, Nishikawam, Momoka, Asahi, Honey Trap, Umeki, Mineo, Takeshi, Nakazawa, and of course the shark. There's some other people in here as well, including somebody called Black Story Kuro and Hiroshima Freddy. Those names will come up again in a minute, because it looks like all of these people are using their real names, but it's not quite entirely accurate. So anyway, we start out with two YouTubers going out to a supposedly haunted site, and they are investigating this mysterious haunted well that somebody on the internet told them about. They seem to get lost and they wander around for a while, and then they see this statue. And these statues are commonly along trails apparently in Japan. They're called Jizo statues, and they're supposed to be guardians of children and travelers, and they're usually made of stone or something like that. And they see a couple people seemingly praying or giving respect. I'm not exactly sure what the cultural reference is here, but these people want nothing to do with our YouTuber heroes. Well, that of course comes into play later as well, but when these YouTubers try to talk to them, they run away, and then the statue seems to fall over and then stand back up on its own. That's done with quick cuts. It's really well done. A lot of the movie is shot very much like YouTube videos. So when you're seeing these YouTubers filming, they're filming exactly how YouTubers do, with phone cameras and mounted lights and flashlights, that sort of thing. So it's got a real good, realistic feel to it. They eventually find the well, and the girl, Kana, decides to get a closer look. Now this well is apparently made of some sort of ductwork and duct tape, because there's obvious duct tape on the sides of it. Like, you could have just spray painted that, you know? Whatever. It's a less than B grade movie. This was clearly done by YouTubers. All of these people in here are YouTubers. So this is some sort of cross-promotional effort, I guess. Well, a monster, of course, jumps out of the well and attacks Kana, and her partner flees, but that sets off the chain of events that lead to the overall story. So we come across these other YouTubers called Big Summer, and they talk with an occult expert who wears a bunch of silly hand-drawn monsters on his shirt, and he has a very bizarre hat. That scene was actually pretty funny. And they talk about different hidden monsters. They call them UMAs, which are like unidentified monster. So they also learn from this guy that a megalodon may be hiding in a well. I mean, why not, right? And I was like, this story is going to be cool. Nope, it's different than that. It's a bit convoluted. Then we hear a story about an invisible shark from a ghost expert. After Natsume, who's one of the Big Summer guys, he goes to meet this wrestler called the Shark to try and get information on sharks, and he tries that a couple times, and that ends very poorly for him in very comedic fashion. But the Shark ends up sending them this ghost story video anyway. So the Big Summer people of Natsume and Nishikawa go to this village that they locate. It's called Edo at one point, but then it's the nameless village, so I don't know if it's in like Edo Prefecture or something like that. I was a little confused by that part. There's obviously some cultural translation problems that are going to occur with stuff like this, so it's a little unclear what the name of this town is. I think they were being purposely vague. But the villagers there do not take kindly to strangers, and they try and chase them off. And when that doesn't work, because they come back a couple hours later, and they end up seeing one of those roadside statues again, they try and circle back, but the villagers grab Natsume and attempt to sacrifice him to the well monster. And just when it looks like things are gone for him, Nishikawa comes back and finds him by the well. She didn't run away, after all. She was trying to save the footage. And what we can see is with this shark thing is that there's like an old lady inside. Obviously, the shark outfit was too easy to see the operator, so they just threw some old lady wig on him. and it just added to the story instead. So they end up learning this legend from Black Story Kuro and Hiroshima Freddy about a well system that was put in this village, and it didn't work. It was just salt water. And then some guy killed his daughter and threw her corpse in the well, but they never found the body, and it's very much Ring-centric, but it's a little convoluted. So that somehow set off this curse where people kept getting eaten, especially kids, by the well monster. And Natsume is constantly thirsty because he's under this curse, I guess? That's a little vague too. But there was a shark under his bed, and a statue appeared in his bedroom. Not sure what the cultural significance of that was, but it was kind of fun. And then he sees a shark in his bathtub, and we see him sitting on a toilet. It's real exciting stuff, let me tell you. And then Nishikawa and the other girl, Momoka, try and contact some people, and they find out more about this story and all that. And they end up finding somebody that used to live in the village who says that his mom kind of suffered the same fate, and he had stolen this book about the well from like a village elder or mayor or something. They call him a chief. I don't think that word really is a Japanese word, but he ends up stealing this book that has a magic spell in it that can break the curse. So they end up trying to return Natsume to the well to break the curse, and they run into some villagers again. Things go crazy, and we're still left with the mystery of where the hot YouTuber chick went, and we finally get resolution on that at the end of the movie. Overall, it's a pretty silly, fun movie, but it gets a little slow near the end, and nobody really dies. There's just sort of this curse thing going on, and all these YouTubers obviously aren't going to end their careers for this little 1-hour sketch they did. But it's got some really funny moments, and probably some stuff that would be funny if we understood the culture a little better, so kind of missed out on that. And the whole ending with the search for Kana was a little weird. Also, Natsume goes to this bar that has like 5 seats in it. It's the smallest bar I've ever seen in my life. It looks like a college dorm room was turned into an actual bar. And I imagine that's a real thing in Japan, but it really looked cramped and almost like a porno set. There are some funny jokes about boobs in there because Natsume is apparently obsessed with big boobs and things like that. But overall, it's a fun movie. It really is not that exciting. It's definitely filmed by YouTubers on almost no budget whatsoever. The most money spent was that shark costume. Was it worth watching? Not really. If you're a Japanese YouTube fan, maybe, but I don't know who any of these people are. The girl from Kana TV, though, she was really pretty, but there's no nudity. There's talk about boobs, but we don't really see any. And since there's no deaths, it's not really a slasher film. It's just a promotion for all these YouTubers like Hiroshima Freddy and Black Story Kuro, and of course Big Summer and maybe Kana TV. I don't know if that's a real channel or not. I could only find a couple of these people's channels, but I've seen a lot worse films. It was just a no-budget YouTube sketch, basically, that was a cross-collaboration. And the story wasn't bad. It had some great ideas. I think it suffered from not having an investment for the budget, though, because you could have had a really cool story about this seemingly abandoned village where everybody that does live there is, cloistered away from the public, but they don't really have stuff like that. But I guess that would be hard to pull off in Japan, where there is such a compact population, and it probably would have cost a lot more money. A lot of the stuff in here is filmed in people's apartments or on this one back road that seems to be the entire thing for the village, with the horribly fake well and the little statues. Statues look cool though. So I think there were some interesting ideas here that could have been made into a serious horror film. It would have been kind of ludicrous with the shark, but it could have been a Ring spin-off or knockoff very easily. So it was an interesting thing, but not really something I'll probably ever watch again. So if this is something you're interested in, be aware it's just a bunch of YouTubers having fun. It's definitely not a serious film, and it had a couple of really good laughs in it, so I didn't feel cheated for the $6 I spent at Walmart to buy this. I thought it was fun for what it is, but it's definitely not as straight up horror as the box art made it look, which was kind of disappointing, but it's still better than a lot of the actual shark movies that you can buy now. So a fun little film for what it is, but it's definitely not going to be something that's rewatched unless you're really, really into Japanese YouTubers. So not really worth tracking down, but if you come across it and pick it up cheap, you'll probably be mildly entertained for about half of it. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the review, review, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.